Oli Bharat joins us from London. Oli, what purpose did these strikes serve?
Well, Ramesh, the UK and the US had for some time had assets in the Middle East region, in the Red Sea region, that they were hoping would be a deterrent to some of the attacks that had been started by Houthis in Yemen towards shipping routes in that area. That clearly wasn't really working, in the sense that those attacks were continuing, if not intensifying, in recent weeks. And so the UK and the US had recently warned that if those attacks continued, that there would be consequences, in their words. And Washington and London eventually got to the point where they decided that they needed to try and take some kind of military action to downgrade and disrupt, in the words of the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, the ability of Houthis in Yemen to fire drones and missiles towards that key shipping route of the Red Sea. So from a UK and US perspective, this is designed to be a short, sharp operation that really disrupts the Houthis and stops them being able to affect shipping in the way that they have been recently. Clearly, in terms of what comes next, that is going to be the critical issue here, is have these UK-US airstrikes done enough to do that? Or are we going to see continued attempts to disrupt Red Sea shipping routes in the days and weeks ahead from Houthi rebels inside Yemen? The UK has said today that it's not immediately planning any more airstrikes, and that early intelligence suggests that the airstrikes have done what they were intended to do. But UK officials are also stressing that they will very much be watching in the days ahead to see if that is indeed the case.
I'm sure people around the world watching this broadcast are wondering, can the world afford another war if the Israel-Hamas conflict spreads?
Well, one of the key calculations that the Americans and the British would have made here is exactly what risk they were taking when it comes to wider escalation. Indeed, we've seen US Secretary of State Antony Blinken touring the region again recently with the explicit aim of trying to make sure that the conflict doesn't spill over, doesn't escalate beyond where it is at the moment. And clearly the risk with an operation like this is that actually you could see, as a result of these airstrikes, escalation. We've seen very strong condemnation today from the Houthis, from Hezbollah in Lebanon, from Hamas as well, from Oman, from various other regional powers. And so this is a calculated risk that the UK and the US have taken here. They believe that trying to protect Red Sea shipping routes and also maritime personnel is of prime importance to those personnel, but also the global economy and their economies as well. And they feel at this point that that was a risk that they were in a position to be able to take. But clearly it's a calculated gamble by the US and the UK, and some critics of the airstrikes that we saw overnight UK time will say exactly that. They will say that they really do run the danger here of making things worse in the region rather than better.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Oli, thank you. Oli Bharat reporting there from London.